Welcome back to the Powerbomb Nation, a show that's better than some and worse than others. And today, let's get ready to rumble, as it is time for our predictions and reviews of the 2022 WWE Royal Rumble. So let's start out with the match. This is a mixed tag match with none other than the Glamazon Beth Phoenix and her husband Edge, Team Grit versus Team It of The Miz and Maurice. So this match has had a very nice setup to it, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing this mixed tag match because for once, all the participants in the match make sense. Husband and wife versus husband and wife, Team Grit versus Team It, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say Team It, the It team, Miz and Maurice, will defeat Team Grit, Edge and Beth, and get the upper hand going into possibly the next pay-per-view, which is Elimination Chamber, or even continuing this feud into WrestleMania. So we'll see what happens in this matchup. The next matchup we got here for you is Becky Lynch versus Doudrop. And this is probably the match on the card that you can look at and you know automatically who's going to be the winner. I think they're going to give a really nice push out of all this to Doudrop, but I don't think Doudrop is going to win. I do think Becky Lynch is going to win and retain. However, I expect a great showing out of Doudrop, and we'll get a continued push of her moving forward. But again, Big Time Bex is going to retain the Raw Women's Championship at the Royal Rumble. The next match we're going to talk about is Roman Reigns, the Tribal Chief, the 500-plus day Universal Heavyweight Champion versus the drip god himself, Seth freaking Rollins. Now, this match obviously writes itself. It's for the Universal title. Jimmy and Jay are both barred from ringside. And Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins have a very storied past. I love the aspect of Seth Rollins coming in and saying that I made you, you were green, me and Mox assisted you along your way. And the fact that they point out that Seth Rollins has had Roman Reigns' number in every time they fought. Matter of fact, I think 2 of Seth Rollins' championships have came off the back of Roman Reigns. However, I look for Roman Reigns to get off the snide in this one and have a clear-cut victory over Seth Rollins in what I'm expecting to be the match of the night. Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns is probably going to blow the Dome in St. Louis up. I expect for this to be a 5-star battle, and this match is going to steal the show with your winner and still Universal Champion, the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns. The next match we're going to talk about is Brock Lesnar with Paul Heyman in his corner versus the almighty Bobby Lashley with MVP in his corner. This match I've been pining to see for years. These two legit heavyweight fighters going one-on-one inside the squared circle is a dream match in my opinion. I think it's being wasted on the Royal Rumble. However, I'm excited to see it. This is a WrestleMania caliber main event. This would main event any WrestleMania. And we're getting it at the Royal Rumble, where Brock Lesnar is going to put his WWE Championship on the line against the almighty Bobby Lashley. And boy, this one's got some stuff cooking in it. I will tell you now, this is not going to be a clean finish. I see a few different directions they can go with this. This is a storyline that I honestly think they should milk until WrestleMania. Give us a dirty finish here and milk this thing to go into WrestleMania and let the winner of the Royal Rumble take on Reigns. We can have Lesnar and Reigns at another time, but you got a chance to build up a fierce storyline between Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley, because it's starting off hot, ladies and gentlemen. The weigh-ins, the one-on-ones, the Bobby Who, all this stuff is fantastic. Cowboy Lesnar versus the almighty Bobby Lashley. I really don't know who's going to win this. I have a feeling, because I really think we're getting Reigns and Lesnar at WrestleMania. I really think Paul Heyman's going to turn on Brock and do some underhanded Paul Heyman type stuff and cost Brock the WWE Championship, and letting Bobby Lashley have another run with the WWE Championship, which he fully deserves. That's what I think is going to happen. What I want to happen is a dirty finish. No clear-cut winner. Maybe both guys get disqualified. No winner. And we head this into maybe even the Elimination Chamber. And then we head it into WrestleMania and let these two actually get hold of each other on the granddaddy of them all, and let Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar beat the teetotal hell out of each other for the next 3 or 4 months. I think that would be fantastic. That storyline's written. It would be great. That's what I want to happen. What I think is going to happen is Brock Lesnar retains his belt Brock Lesnar loses his belt because of Paul Heyman. Next is the Women's Royal Rumble match. 30 women enter, only one woman will walk out with a shot at her choice of belts at WrestleMania 38 in Dallas, Texas. There's going to be a lot of surprises in the field on this one. One of the really cool things about this year's Royal Rumble is it seems that forbidden door is wide open, because we're getting Mickie James with her TNA Knockouts Championship is going to be in the Royal Rumble, and we already know this. We've heard that the Inspiration, formerly the Iconics, have supposedly turned down their shot to be in the Royal Rumble, and I really don't blame them on that. The big surprise I think we're going to get is, I think Alexa Bliss is going to have a major role in the Royal Rumble. She is one of the 3 that I think could come out and win this. I think we're going to get a returning Bayley at the Royal Rumble, and I think she's going to have a great showing in the Royal Rumble, and she could potentially be a winner. But the most likely scenario, ladies and gentlemen, is none other than the new rowdy one, Ronda Rousey, will be making her return to the WWE ring to spark some heavy interest going into WrestleMania, where she will win the Women's Royal Rumble and go on to face Big Time Bex at WrestleMania, headlining Night 1 of WrestleMania 38 in Dallas, Texas. So look for Ronda Rousey to pull out the win in the Women's Over-the-Top Royal Rumble. Again, surprises bound. I expect a couple of big returns. I expect a fantastic match with Ronda Rousey pulling up the win. The last but not least is the Men's Royal Rumble match. 30 men enter, 1 man stands with his choice of championship shots at WrestleMania 38 in Dallas. And this one, the field looks to be about half field. We should get some nice surprises in this as well. So one thing I want to talk about, we got the forbidden door being open in the Women's Royal Rumble. What about the men's? Are we going to get an unexpected entrant into the men's? There's been a lot of talk about Cody Rhodes being in the Men's Royal Rumble match. I don't know how true that could be. He's not under contract, so saith the sheep. Could he be in the Men's Royal Rumble match? Would he be in the Men's Royal Rumble match? Is that something Cody Rhodes would even have an interest in doing? You know who I do think would have an interest in doing the Royal Rumble this year? none other than the GOAT, Chris Jericho. I think Chris Jericho has a huge interest in keeping that door open, not the forbidden door, the door he wants to get into the WWE Hall of Fame. I think Chris Jericho wants to keep those relationships very good and open between him and WWE because his time in the ring is coming up short. And let's be honest, there's no real wrestling Hall of Fame outside of the WWE Hall of Fame. And that's really where that's where you strive to get to as a professional wrestler. Chris Jericho wants those accolades. He'll want in the WWE Hall of Fame. He could be the forbidden door and walk right through it and find himself in the men's Royal Rumble match. I don't see anyone else from other promotions making it in. Maybe someone else from NWA, maybe somebody from TNA. I'm thinking WWE wants to start opening up a line of communication with these other companies because I do think they're going to sell. And to do that, I think you got to look at the broader multiverse of professional wrestling. The Royal Rumble this year could give us that and bring other wrestling promotions in fold with WWE. However, the winner of the match is not going to be somebody from another wrestling federation. It's going to be someone from the WWE, and there's a couple of big contenders right now. Some people are already throwing out the fact that Brock Lesnar or Roman Reigns could find themselves in the Royal Rumble. If either of those men are in it, there's a really good chance, and I'm saying like a 99.9% chance that they win the Royal Rumble. However, I have one dark horse and two other odds-on favorites. Big E Langston, really good shot. This man continues his triumphant run and wins the Royal Rumble and maybe goes on to headline WrestleMania in his own way with the almighty Bobby Lashley. There is a shot that AJ Styles wins this year's Royal Rumble and could go on to face Bobby Lashley or Roman Reigns or Brock Lesnar, whoever the champion is. And I could really see AJ Styles pulling it out. He's not won the Royal Rumble. It would be very fitting for him to do so. And now's the time. My dark horse to win the Royal Rumble is Sheamus. Sheamus has been on a tear. He's got a good look going on right now. And I think he is the dark horse to win the Royal Rumble and get a title shot, because I could see him matching up very well with the likes of Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, and Bobby Lashley, putting on one hell of a match. But the most likely scenario is going to be Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar losing his title earlier in the night because of hijinks of Paul Heyman, comes into the Royal Rumble, eliminates most of the 29 other men en route to his way to WrestleMania 38 in Dallas, Texas, to fight none other than the tribal chief Roman Reigns with Paul Heyman in his corner. What do you think? Pretty solid picks, I think. We'll have to look back at this in a few days now and see how wrong I was, because that's what most of these videos turn into. Make sure you drop a like, subscribe, comment. Let me know, who do you think is going to win the Royal Rumble? Who do you think is going to win the Women's Royal Rumble? Who's retaining their belts? Who's losing? Who's a surprise entrance? All that great stuff, people. I can't wait to hear from you, fam. And like always, thank you for listening to the Powerbomb Nation. Peace out.
Thank you.